name is Paige. I'm a 25-year-old full-time housewife. I live with my husband, Michael, but I have to tell you, we are newlyweds and we're on cloud 9. You don't need to do that, so just leave it, Michael. You finally have a day off of work today, so just relax.
Well, I can't really relax unless I'm cleaning.
I guess you are a janitor by trade after all.
Yeah, the CEO says to me a lot that the lifestyle that you lead in private has an effect on the way that you work in public.
Yeah, that's true. I think I had the same thing. Before we got married, I felt that way when I was working in an office. When I saw colleagues or bosses who had organized bags and was always keeping their desks clean, I knew that they were people who could handle clients respectfully and politely.
That's right. The way that you are on a regular basis really shows in your work.
Yeah, but that being said, you finally have a day off today, so I really want you to relax today. Oh, I know. Later, do you want to go to that Healthland place that newly opened in the town over? I heard they have all kinds of saunas and baths. People are raving about it.
Oh, great idea! I've been curious about that place too. Let's go!
Yeah, but Michael, you better not start cleaning at Healthland too.
I'll try to be careful.
As you can see, Michael was always proactive about helping to clean the apartment, so our living room, our kitchen, our toilets, and bathtub were always sparkling clean. He also helps out with other chores around the house and really is the most amazing husband. However, even though we're happy like this now, until the day that we got married, we went through all kinds of difficulty. When I was in high school, I was friends with a girl named Nancy. At that time, we often did everything together. Hey, did you hear? Apparently Beverly has a boyfriend. Beverly was in the same class as us, and sometimes on the weekend, Nancy, Beverly, and I would hang out as a trio. Oh yeah, I heard about that. Hey, don't you think that's awful? What awful? Because don't you remember? We made an agreement together that we don't need any boyfriends. Huh? No, from what I remember, that was just because Nancy was the only one that said, if any of us get a boyfriend, then we won't be able to hang out as much anymore, so let's all be single forever! And she declared that by herself. Can't you see that she betrayed us? We can't hang out with Beverly anymore. Wait, what? Why is that the conclusion? Because I can't forgive her for this! Oh, come on, just for that? Oh, this is ridiculous. But also, why can't you be happy for your friend's happiness? For a few days after that, I understood this by watching Nancy, but it turned out that Nancy was just jealous of Beverly, who had a boyfriend, and she said all of that out of envy. Well, I didn't really mind, and so I continued to talk and hang out with Beverly, as usual. Nancy didn't seem too happy about it, but all of the girls in class were already separated into their own friend groups. If Nancy separated herself from us, it was very likely that she'd be left alone in class. Perhaps because she was afraid of that, Nancy didn't complain to me or try to confront me about being friends with Beverly. At that time in high school, I was a plain student and I was a super nerd. So back in high school, I never dated any boys or anything like that. That's why at the time I was never the subject of Nancy's envy, and that's probably why I was able to remain friends with her the whole time. However, a few years after we graduated from high school, I was able to meet the man of my dreams, Michael. After we started dating, he proposed to me and we were engaged. Right after I graduated from high school, I left my hometown and went to a big college in the city, and I got my first job at a company in the city as well. Because of that, Nancy and I only kept in touch comments on posts on social media from time to time. But of course, I was planning on inviting Nancy to the wedding. Now that we were grown adults, I'm sure she wouldn't tell me not to get married or call me a traitor. A lot has happened since then, but I still wanted to treasure my friends from high school. However, a week after I'd sent out all the wedding invitations, I suddenly got a phone call from Nancy. Hello, Paige! Wow, it's you, Nancy! It's been so long. How have you been? That's not important right now. I just got your wedding invitation, Paige. Oh, you got it? I'm so glad. I really wanted you to come to the wedding. No, I mean, I would love to say congratulations to you, but what? Paige, before you get married, you didn't even tell me that you had a fiancé or that you even had a boyfriend. Huh? And even on social media, you didn't post anything about having a boyfriend or that you were even gonna get married. I'm kinda shocked. Like, why didn't you tell me? Well, we haven't seen each other in years. I thought it would be annoying for me to suddenly message you just because I had a boyfriend. Because we're all grown up now, and I figured you're busy with work too, right? It's not like anything that I have to post on social media either, so... What? But I was shocked. Well, even if you were shocked. And first of all, back when we were in high school, we had an agreement that we wouldn't make boyfriends. There it is. I can't believe that she's still talking about that agreement we never actually made about boyfriends. Wait a minute, hold on? If I remember correctly, Nancy was posting photos of herself with her boyfriend on social media until recently, wasn't she? When I remembered that, I decided to try and ask her about it. Hey, you're talking about the agreement about not having boyfriends or whatever, but you have a boyfriend too, don't you? Hey, Paige, you're so mean! Come on, get the hint! Huh? Can't you tell that I recently haven't posted anything about my boyfriend on social media? Obviously, it's because I was dumped and I'm super hurt right now. And on top of that, I can't believe that you also betrayed me, Paige. I can't live like this anymore. No, that's not what I'm talking about. What about the agreement? What about the agreement that you just brought up yourself? Oh, Paige, you're so mean. Okay. Oh, I see. What this means is that even though she just got dumped and she's heartbroken, how dare I send her a wedding invitation and how dare I be happy? So even though she brings up that argument, she doesn't have to abide by those rules herself. I started to think that it was a pain to continue this conversation, so... Yeah, sure. Alright, sorry that I wasn't able to catch that. It's not like I'm saying you have to force yourself to come to the wedding. It's okay if you don't come. That's what I said on the phone, but then... No, I'll go. Huh? I'll go. Plus, you didn't bite me after all. Sure. Well then, I'm really looking forward to it. Those were Nancy's words, and she was laughing when she hung up the phone. Even though she was angry just a few seconds ago, she suddenly started laughing. Is there something wrong with Nancy's head? Anyway, I was able to finish that strange phone call, and I was relieved. However, I was starting to think that maybe I shouldn't have sent Nancy the invitation. That being said, there's no way that I could send out the invitation and then try to take it back and ask her not to come. If it's Nancy, I'm sure she's not gonna do anything that bad anyway. And so I prepared a seat for Nancy at the wedding, and it was finally the big day. Even though this was supposed to be the happiest day of our lives, at the wedding reception, it was a disaster. And that was because... Wow, you're so handsome! Would you like to exchange phone numbers? Across the wedding venue, Nancy was putting on a baby voice and going around to all of the tables full of Michael's friends, trying to hit on all of them. In particular, she got hung up on this man named Mr. Kevin who was sitting at one of the front tables. Nice to meet you. My name is Nancy. Do you mind if I sit next to you?
I believe we all have designated seats, and it's not time to get up yet. So I think it might be best for you to return to your seat.
Oh, please, don't blush so much. Oh, you can just call me Nana, okay?
Sure.
And before I leave this place today, I'm definitely gonna get your number, okay? I think I just fell in love with you at first sight. Oh wow, Mr. Kevin looks like he's really bothered by her. But it was true, Mr. Kevin was definitely handsome, and I get it, he's handsome, but there's a time and a place, and this is not it. Not only that, but earlier, immediately after the wedding ceremony at the chapel, when Michael and I were being showered by confetti as we walked down the aisle, I saw very clearly that Nancy was looking the other way with an irritated look on her face. Even though she said, "You invited me, so I'll go," she looked miserable. What on earth was she thinking? Anyway, once the wedding is over, I don't think I'll keep in touch with Nancy anymore. However, things were about to get worse. The incident happened when at the wedding reception. There was a video being played about how Michael and I met. The MC started to introduce us and said, "The groom, Mr. Michael, is currently working as a janitor," and it was at that moment. What? Seriously? No way! Well, this is the person that was going to marry Paige, so I didn't think it was going to be anyone amazing anyway, but to your husband is a janitor? He's at the bottom of society, isn't he? Oh, wow, that was even better than I expected! What did you just say? I was planning on ruining your wedding today after you betrayed me, but I just met an amazing man and was thinking about how I killed two birds with one stone, but I didn't even need to get my hands dirty for this. Your husband is a janitor. There's no way you're gonna be happy. Oh, thank goodness. I see, so that's the reason why you came here today? Wait, that's not what I should be thinking about right now. Hey, Nancy! In order to try to stop her from saying anything further, I tried to raise my voice from the table in front to get her to stop, but she didn't. Oh man, I'm so sorry for saying that you betrayed me, Paige. You and I are gonna be friends forever. Even though I was sure she could hear me, Nancy didn't even try to stop talking. Nancy, that's enough already. Even still, a janitor, huh? You really couldn't find anyone even a little bit better than that? Are you serious that you want to become the wife of a janitor? Nance, forgive me, okay, Paige? Since you have a husband that's at the bottom of society, I'm probably going to end up happier than you, Paige, because I was able to get close to this person here today, and I'm going to go home with him! As she said that, Nancy turned to Mr. Kevin and grabbed him by the arm. How dare you! Listen when someone is trying to speak to you! Even though she's always had bully tendencies, I didn't think that she grew up to be like this. The worst! And sitting next to me, Michael was boiling and I could tell that he was furious. I needed to ask the staff to kick her out of the venue as soon as possible. However, in just a few moments, karma was about to come crashing down on Nancy. Well, it was exactly as I imagined anyway. Well then, Nancy didn't have a clue as to what kind of situation she was in, and so she continued to belittle Michael's job out loud in front of everyone, but... Still, I feel so sad for you. Even though you're just plain old Paige, I was never gonna forgive you for getting married before me, but now I just feel sad for you. Anyway, more importantly, hey, let's exchange numbers. Nancy then got herself closer to Mr. Kevin, but it was at that moment.
Get away from me.
What?
I said, get away from me!
There was a dark aura around Mr. Kevin when he raised his voice. Nancy must have been terrified because she fell backwards, shuffling all the way back to our table. Why are you so angry? There were question marks all around Nancy's head, and she looked like she was about to cry after getting yelled at by a handsome man. That was when I stood up and came in front of Nancy. Hey, do you not understand the situation? I asked her. What situation? Judging by your reaction, you don't know. Most of the guests sitting on the groom's side of the venue are janitors themselves. Huh? That was when Nancy finally seemed to understand that she was being glared at by almost all the guests on Michael's side of the venue. And for the record, the janitors weren't the only ones that were completely shocked by Nancy's words just now. Everyone was in that venue was glaring at Nancy with cold eyes. But also, at any wedding, would it be safe to assume that a number of the groom's colleagues would be in attendance as guests of the wedding, don't you think? And yet, in front of many janitors themselves, you were belittling them and laughing at them? It's the same thing as barging into a group of enemies, spreading your arms wide open and telling them to take you down. Seriously, what are you thinking? How stupid can you be? But because... For the record, the Mr. Kevin you were trying to hit on this whole time is actually the CEO of the janitor company where Michael works. What did you say? That was when Nancy gasped and she looked over at Mr. Kevin once again.
The bottom of society, huh? You underestimate janitors, don't you? Without janitors, you would be waist deep in trash. Nancy crumbled to the ground and covered her head.
Don't you realize that it's because of janitors that companies and other places that we use every single day remain clean? That's the only reason why we're able to work and shop and live in clean places. But also, the dirtiest place of all is inside that brain of yours. What? Talking about trying to destroy someone's wedding and going around and hitting on all of the guests there? Seriously, your mind and heart are both filthy. It's no wonder why you were dumped by your boyfriend. How obvious!
If anything, I can't possibly imagine that there was a man who wanted to date a woman like this. That's shocking.
That was when Nancy stood up, and perhaps from anger or from the embarrassment, her face was bright red. Ugh! Even though you're just plain little Paige, who do you think you are? She stood up screaming. Then she ran over to the nearest table and started grabbing plates and glasses and throwing them towards me. But in an instant, the wedding venue staff grabbed her and pinned her down. Let go! Let go of me! Why is this happening to me? Ah! After that, with the help of the venue staff as well as all the janitors and attendants, the venue that Nancy trashed was instantly cleaned up and the wedding reception resumed as though nothing had happened. After being taken outside by the staff, apparently Nancy was still throwing a tantrum and she started breaking all kinds of things around the venue, including expensive decorations and vases. And so, of course, the venue then sued Nancy for an extremely high cost of damages. Because of that, Nancy's parents also found out about how she tried to destroy somebody's wedding and the tantrum that she threw. It turned out that all this time Nancy had been unemployed and she was just rolling around at home all day. Her parents didn't know what to do and were troubled by her, but this incident must have been the final straw. I heard that she was sent off by her parents to a relative's hotel to live and work there. Her parents fronted the costs of damages to the venue first, but in order to pay them back, and also to fix that rotten personality of hers, they made her go and work there as a janitor. Apparently, that hotel had a pretty strict and scary hotel manager, and from the very first day, Nancy was crying that she wanted to go home. But of course, there was no way that anybody was going to listen to those complaints. I heard that after being worked day and night and getting yelled at by the hotel staff, nowadays she's completely lost weight and aged years. I heard all this from Nancy's parents, who came to apologize to Michael and me and to pay us the settlement fee for the trouble that their daughter caused. It seems like it's gonna take decades to pay back the debt that she has to her parents for all of these fees, but she did this to herself. Well then, on the other hand, for me, I am still living the happiest days with my husband. That reminds me, the other day, Mr. Kevin came over to our house.
Miss Paige, thank you very much for the other day.
What are you thanking me for?
I may be the CEO, but there are times that I go and work on site myself. And it's not rare for janitors to be belittled and laughed at like that. People say that it's a job that anybody can do, that it's a lowly job. But when you spoke about us like that at your wedding, I felt it deep in my heart.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. No, I shouldn't be apologizing to you for that. Things became such a disaster there.
Not at all. It was a wonderful wedding. I truly am so touched. You and Michael are a beautiful husband and wife. That's right. Paige really is the most beautiful wife.
Hey, Michael, don't make such a face in front of your own CEO. But I'm really happy to hear you say that, Mr. Kevin. Thank you for always looking after us. Thank you for watching! What kind of crazy people will we get to see next? Stay tuned for more!